guys, I figured I'd make another little story time type video. And then the topic I'm going to be covering today is one of my academy horses, one of the two that I took. So I'm going to be talking about him today. So the academy horse I'll be talking about today, his name is Bruno. He is the horse that you guys have all seen in my professional photos from down under. He's a big sorrel with a blaze. So I wanted to talk about how I got Bruno, why I chose Bruno, and what he's up to now. So we'll start at the beginning. For those of you that don't know, I actually went to a community college for a year in Iowa. I was studying equine management. I completed 1 year when I decided that I wasn't going to return and complete the degree. The program just wasn't for me, even though obviously I really enjoyed the coursework and the topic I was studying. Obviously I really enjoyed that, but I just decided that my money would be better spent at Clinton's Academy rather than going back to the college. But anyways, how this all ties into Bruno was, after my first year at that college in May, I actually took a job starting colts for one of the instructors that I took classes from at the college. And while I was there, my main duties, I cleaned stalls, helped doctor horses, but I also got to start some colts. They did not use the method. It was more actually kind of like, they were a Western pleasure barn, and it was actually more like a very, very like basic level dressage that we did with the colts. But not the method. It was, we'd saddle them, wait till they'd stop bucking, and then we'd hop on and hope we didn't die. But anyways, I rode about 3 or 4 colts a day, and the very first one I started was a 2-year-old stud colt. We gelded him shortly after I started, but at the time that I met him, he was a 2-year-old stud colt, big sorrel, big blaze on his face and a sock. He was terrified. He was kind, but always had a scared eye to him and everything. And long story short, I started him. He was scared, but overall, he wanted to be a good boy. He was just scared. So I lightly started him. I think I only put about 10 rides on him actually before I left the job, and I moved back home to work the factory job so that I could make some real money and go to the academy on time, at least on my time for my goals. So fast forward about, a year or so, I don't even remember, but fast forward to April 2020, I was looking for my second academy horse to take. I had already purchased one, which we'll cover him in a separate video. So I was looking for a second horse to take to the academy. And the horse I had already purchased was very cold-blooded, very laid back. So I was wanting something a little more hot. So I'd have, the two sides of the spectrum at the academy, a hot-blooded and a cold-blooded horse. And, it just struck me. I was like, well, what if I just go back to, my previous employer? They had a lot of horses. And I was like, so I just randomly, I texted my old instructor and I asked if they would sell that stud colt I was talking about, while I worked for him, I did name him. I named him Bruno. So I just texted her and I said, hey, would you guys be interested in selling Bruno to me? I'm looking for a second horse to take to the academy. And they responded, they're like, yep, yeah, we'll sell him to you. We need $3,500 out of him. I was like, okay. So like that weekend I just went and I picked him up basically. So I hadn't seen him in, probably 6 months at least or so. I don't even remember. I hadn't seen him for a while, but picked him up. The day I went to pick him up, actually, my poor mom, my family had never paid more than $1,500 for a horse. So my mom comes, and before I'm riding Bruno, before we get him in the trailer to take him home, and he hadn't been ridden in months, so, you can't really hold it against him. He hadn't been ridden in months, and I asked him to lope, and he kind of crow hops. Not like really nasty or whatever, but just kind of like, no, I don't want to. And he crow hopped a couple times and everything. My poor mom, she never said it. But I could tell by the look on her face, she was really questioning why I paid $3,500 for this horse that was crow hopping. But anyways, yep, took him home. paid $3,500 for him, took him home. I fed him a lot, fattened him up. And that September, I took him to the academy with me. And he ended up being my test horse, and he was the horse that I graduated with. I tested in front of Clinton. If you've watched my other videos, you also know that he kind of chumped me on groundwork day and was acting like a halter horse, a stereotypical halter horse during groundwork day, but he was a good boy during riding, so whatever. But so that's the story about how I met Bruno and why I chose him as my academy horse, which it's a long story short. I really only chose him to be my academy horse because I knew him, knew he didn't have any method training, knew he had no injuries, and he had good conformation and was pretty, which I figured would help resell him. So we'll skip. So that's basically the gist of Bruno, short and sweet. And so now what Bruno is up to now. So as most of you know, I'm working for Clinton right now. I'm his groom / saddler. So I just moved to Fayetteville about I don't even know. I moved to Fayetteville in May, however many months that is. I don't know. I don't do math, and I don't really care to do math right now. So I've been in Fayetteville since May. Bruno's not down here with me yet. The apartment I'm currently in is a little expensive to be paying board on top of that. So Bruno's still at home at my parents' house, living in the pasture, living the good lazy life. At this time, not really interested in selling him. That doesn't mean I won't ever sell him. It just means that he's got a price tag on him, and I'm not gonna drop below that price. So that's that, I guess. If you have any other questions about Bruno or how to select academy horses or anything like that, just comment down below or PM me or whatever, and I'll try and help you out. All right?